Hello everybody and welcome to the transformation guide on Shattered Glass Starscream. Very awesome figure. But to go ahead and get started, we can remove his null rays, set those aside, and we can go ahead and remove the two swords, or two halves of one sword. Just set those aside for now. So now, what I like to do to start is just fold the toes and the heels up, just like that. You can then come to the wrists, and this is very similar to the Earthrise Seeker mode with the wrist, but I almost like how this works better. It's just a bit easier to do. You just open this out, fold the wrists up, collapse the shoulder joint on itself, and then close this back up. Do that on both sides, so open that, fold the wrist in, collapse that, and close that. Pretty simple. Now you can come back here, and this part's a little difficult just because it puts some stress on the wings, or on these pieces, but I don't think it'll break, but just be careful with it. So you kind of just pop this out, and then you come to the other side, do the same thing. I just don't really like how much stress it feels like it puts on it when you have to do one at a time like that. But then this little black tab right here will go into that slot in the back of his head. So you just take this panel, fold it up, click it into place. Then you can take this part on his chest here and get up under that, pull that up. Just kind of disconnect that for the minute. You can then take this whole assembly and fold these parts just kind of out of the way. That'll kind of hinge back, and that'll let you fold these up the rest of the way. These two tabs will just grab each other up here, just like that. And just kind of keep that up out of the way for now. You can actually hinge this back a little bit. Now that we have that chest plate done, we can kind of swivel the head back, pull this whole assembly forward, and then collapse the head the rest of the way into there. Then just kind of leave that chest plate for a minute. You want to hinge this back and take his lower body here and spin him all the way around at the torso. Then you can take his legs, and these nice little collapsing panels here. I love that. That's so nice. You don't really see any other figures that have that, where it's there to like aid the look in articulation, but it also kind of helps in transformation. Pretty cool. But you can fold these back. Sometimes you got to push that little panel in. Sometimes you don't, but it doesn't hurt to. So just push it in and collapse this in right here. And what'll happen here is this tab right here, this big tab sticking out, will go into this big slot right here. So you just push this back, and it'll grab right into that slot there, just like that. Then you can take his arms, and utilizing the like butterfly hinge joint up here, you can take these two tabs down here and peg them into these two slots. Just like that. And that. So you can technically leave the null rays in on the shoulders. It's just a little bit easier to transform if you take them off. Make sure that's kind of out of the way there. Then you want to take this whole assembly up here, and utilizing this black hinge up here, just hinge it all the way forward and down. And then what you can do here is you take the wings, and these two tabs right up here will grab into the outside tabs right here. There's 3 slots there, but you only utilize 2 of them. And then this tab right up here will just grab onto the front here. So you just kind of hook that in right there, and then grab right there. So once again, hook this front end in, and then connect this up back here, like so. Then you can take this part at the top, pop that off, hinge it down, pop it back in right there. You want to do that first, or else you won't have enough clearance. And then you take this, kind of pop it up over those tabs right there, and then fold it down, and those tabs will just line up into those slots in there, just like so. And that's it. That's really it. You can take his null rays, put them on his shoulders, and then you can take his swords and you can put them into these holes. Right there. And that's it. There he is in Tetrajet mode. Very cool. Very cool looking figure. I really like Starscream having Jetfire's color scheme. That's a cool idea. But now, to get him back into robot mode, we can start the same way by removing the null rays and the swords. And like I said, you technically could leave the null rays in. It's just a little bit easier if you take them out. So pop those all out. Where I like to start here is with this panel. You kind of just bring it out. If you pop it, here, let me do that one more time. If you hinge it up to this point, that's kind of where it stops. If you just kind of push a little bit further, it will kind of dislodge itself down here, and that'll actually make it a little bit easier to just pop down like that. So you just want to get that out of the way. Then you can take this up here, unhinge it there, swing it up, it'll tab in right here, and it'll tab in right there. Then you can take his wings and disconnect them from the arm pieces up here and fold them up, just to get them out of the way. Then you can hinge this assembly back just a little bit, just to kind of give you some more clearance here. Now what you want to do is just untab the arms, and you can go ahead and open these, swivel the wrist out, extend those elbow joints, and fold it back up. Do the same on both sides. Open that out, fold that out, hinge that out, close that up. Then, kind of getting that all out of the way, you can take the legs and just straighten them down. You can pull the heels out, fold the toes out, all that stuff. There we go. And you spin them all the way around at the waist. And now at this point, you can take this front panel here and it'll kind of stop right here. And that's because if you push it further, if you notice, here, let me give you a side view of that. This piece here is gonna push right here, and it will actually pop the head up for you. So then you just pull the head up. And these two big rectangles here will go into this big open rectangle here. Just like that. And that's, like the whole robot mode. You just kind of got the entire Tetrajet on the back here. So you can take these panels here and split them apart. Just swing them all the way up. And before you get any further, you're going to want to untab this little black section here and straighten it out. Now you want to make sure that that doesn't get pushed down, because these two little black tabs on either side need to go into these slots up here. And that's kind of a pain to line up. So you want to hinge this whole piece here. Move that down so you can see this. Hinge this whole piece down. And that will allow you to line up these big tabs with these slots here. But at the same time, once you get one side on, you want to make sure that that little black tab goes into that slot there. And that'll kind of lock the whole head assembly in place. And then you take the second one and just carefully do the same thing. You don't want to break anything, so be really careful with this. And make sure it grabs on that little black tab in there. And that's it. You can then fold the wings out, do whatever you want. Take his null rays, put those back in his shoulders. Take his swords, put those in his hands. And that is it. That is Shattered Glass Starscream. I hope you guys liked that transformation guide. I hope it helped you out. If it did, let me know with a like, comment, and subscribe. And have a nice night.